SF Radio.
JJ did all of the original stars because this is a prequel. So the people who are cast are playing Zoe Saldana is playing me before I went on the 5-year mission. The movie ends where we take off. So it's not a new cast. That's what I looked like then. And she's doing a beautiful job. J.J. Abrams did the entire cast the honor of inviting them, of calling them personally, and literally getting our blessings, telling us what he was doing, why he was doing. He grew up on Star Trek, loved Star Trek, and he personally invited me to lunch, and then onto the set. And he didn't tell anyone on the set that I was coming. And so when I arrived, it's just a set to me, and I'm very excited about seeing what their set is going to look like. But you know, you're stepping over cables and tripping, and it's just the same old thing, you know. And so I went in, and he had some of the cast members were shooting with the second team of directors, and they were where no one was speaking. They were taking some shots on over people's heads and so forth. And so when I came in, and there's all the noise that you associate with the set, and all the because something's being shot. And then they said, and action, and I walked over to look, and so some of the actors who were on were facing me, and they were supposed to say their lines so that you could get the reaction of the person whose back was to me. And suddenly, no lines were coming out of anyone. And the director, the shot was being taken from above me, comes out an expletive. What the hell are you doing? Did you forget? Okay, cut, what are we going to do? And they just, finally people turned around and they were just looking at me like I was a mirage. And that was just, and then they were just, and coming up and speaking to me. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. I felt like one of the great queens of the silent movies. and so I graciously took my bow, and then I sat. JJ sat me down, sat me down, and his director's chair, kind of just off to the side, and then he left and went like that, and then this lovely woman came in, who had, I think this was after lunch, she was doing so, and she was looking at them, and they were looking at her and smiling. And she says, "What are you smiling at?" She says, "Oh, look, can you get?" And she saw me, and she goes, "No way!" And so, from that moment, because that's the first time I met her, she came and sat beside me, and what she didn't know, she was called in and she had nothing to do that day. That was one of JJ's nice little jokes. And we sat there as they went on shooting and talked for the next 2 hours. And she says, "What I really want to do is pick your brain." And I talked to her about how I had created my character and why, and how Uhura got her name. I was reading a book, which was a treatise on Africa called Uhura, and I happened to have it when I came in for the interview. And Gene Roddenberry asked me to lunch after that because I got the role. And he said, I really like that name, and I now know where Uhura is going to come from the United States of Africa. And he said, but I love that name Uhuru, but it has such a harsh sound to it. It has something to do with your name, your character's name. And so I said, well, why don't we make an alliteration of it and soften it to Uhura? And he says, you've named yourself, that belongs to you. And so in our talks, he did say, I wish that I could put you in this, so because I love your character and I love your work. And we actually talked about my playing Saldana's mother, you know, and grandmother. I said, no, let her be a grandmother. He says, you look too young to be a grandmother. You'll be a, and I says, this is what a grandmother looks like today. And so I think he would have that it wouldn't have been a small little cameo, although I would have loved to have. But I think that it's more important that the film stand on its own, and it would have been, and then everybody, you know, if I'd been in it and somebody else and other, I'm looking forward to see what I did and what we did up to the time that we went on the 5-year mission. So that, I think that little story got out, but it really has, it never really was. We talked about it and laughed about it, but I never took it seriously. And but he did say that he was a big fan. He wanted to work with me again, and he wanted to work with me after this, and I'm holding him to it. So that's what that.